This is the talk of Music City real estate.
Welcome back to another episode of the Talk of Music City Real Estate,
where we educate and motivate all things real estate.
My name is Monte Moore with Realty One Group Music City.
Hey, and I'm Carey Ann with CMG Financial and my mortgage team.
Every week we'll be posting a new episode chock full of Nashville real estate value.
Yes, and you can follow along and subscribe at talkmusiccity.com.
Got a question for us? Ask away at questions@talkmusiccity.com. That's questions at talkmusiccity.com.
Morning.
Carey Ann.
Look who else is in the house.
I know it, Mr. Blake Johnson.
We're so grateful that he's back with us. And we've got a special guest.
He brought with him from Oregon.
All the way down the trail.
All the way down. Rachel Bauman. Rachel is with Offerpad.
Welcome.
And
Thank
Rachel,
you guys.
I'm just going to warn you here, okay? For those who know me, know that as far as I'm concerned, most iBuyers, mainly one, is the devil. Okay. Now we can't talk about in our anybody other businesses, and I don't mean to do that. But my point is, I was sharing with some agents today at our Nashville office that look, there are times where an iBuyer is really a good thing, and if I'm going to do business with somebody, I want to do business with an iBuyer that's not trying to do away with my occupation. Okay?
Sure, yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's not that you're so special. It's just that conviction.
She's special.
You don't know me yet.
That conviction behind the founder that he's not trying to do away with the realtor, but trying to work with the realtor. Unlike, I won't mention any other names. Starts with an O, ends with an R. Isn't that how you spell open door? Yeah. I just don't want to mention those
my
names.
Goodness.
So, anyways, I'm just kidding.
Here we go.
I'm just kidding. But anyways, So the reason why I wanted you to come on here today was so everybody, our community is other real estate professionals, and we're always trying to help our real estate professionals add value to their authority level, their within their community that they're speaking to, and I think everybody needs to know about Offerpad. So here's an interesting thing. Just over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of stats given over the last quarter, okay, whether it be, Redfin or Open Door or whoever. And most of these companies have been losing huge amounts of money. I mean, in the hundreds of millions. Mm-hmm. Look at the headline here. Offerpad posts $1.1 billion in revenue growth in Q2. That's pretty incredible. 185% year-over-year growth.
Amazing.
Can we talk about how in the world, in the crazy world we live in, how does a company who's so new as Offerpad, I mean, what are they, a few years old? And tell us about Offerpad and
Absolutely.
How you got started with them.
Yeah, and I think the biggest difference there is relationships. We really strive to make those relationships with realtors and partnerships.
So you're not trying to do away with us?
No, never.
Can I underline that one more time? They're not trying to do away with us, okay?
No, and from day one, we will pay you a full 3%. There's some rules to follow, and that's what my job is, to make sure that every agent understands that from day one. We will pay a full 3%. But really, it's that transparency, and I wouldn't work for someone that I didn't fully believe in. I walked away from 2 years of teaching and switched back over to real estate because I love real estate. But that partnership is really where I thrive in, and making people.
So before Offerpad, you were a licensed real estate professional? I
was, yeah. So I've had my license for 8 years. And the reason I say that it's important to believe in what I do, I've been there, I've done that. And when I first heard of an iBuyer, I was like, well, this sounds strange. Why would I give away my hard-earned business and my backlog? But really, it's not going to work for every single deal, but when it does, it's awesome and you look great, and your client appreciates that. So that's just another way to present your business without getting your hard-earned commission taken away. Not only that, but I worked for 2 builders, and when we weren't able to write on home to sell contingencies, I was just out of luck. And this was back in 2016 to 2018, and anybody that walked in my door, I wanted to sell a home to. It wasn't as hot yet. So, we always talked about tool belt and the toolbox. That's what Offerpad is for any agent, whether it's resale or it's a agent that sits inside the home for a builder. So I wish I had it then, and here I am now. So
It was super cool. Rachel was saying that 25% of Offerpad's business is the relationship, is the partnership between Offerpad and their strategic partners. That's a large portion of their business, and that means that those relationships are quite successful for them to be so successful.
Well, I'll never forget when we first Blake and I first tried Offerpad was with a client that her money was in her equity in her house, and she couldn't afford, without that equity, she couldn't afford the house that she wanted to buy, and she couldn't pull the money out. Anyway, so long story short, getting her approved with Offerpad and the offer that you guys made her only made sense because her home did need updating. And like we are learning is that a home that's not updated isn't going to get top dollar. And to spend the money to update it sometimes is just trading dollars for dollars. So there's, it's not always best for the seller. So to have an opportunity that Offerpad creates where they'll, and we hadn't listed the home yet, and we were having to have a discussion about, there was some discussion about, I don't want to pay you, 3% to list it because I'm going to buy another home with you, and we didn't have Blake's list of 100 things that he does for a seller yet. So anyway, it was awesome.
Just 100.
Yeah, just 100.
Just 100.
I trimmed it down.
So anyway. So that's how we got to know Offerpad, and it's like, okay, these are good guys. Okay, they're filling a need that we as real estate professionals obviously need on occasion, and I love the attitude you're going into it. It's not for everybody, but when it is right, it's really right, and it's really a good thing.
So for those that don't know what Offerpad is all about, we do know that they're another large, name out there. I see a commercial here and there. Share with, the listener exactly what you're about, and then who is the right buyer.
And how does it work?
Yeah,
absolutely. So specifically, I only work with agents, director of partnerships. That's what we focus on. But iBuyer just means instant cash offer. We will provide that offer within 24 hours to the agent, and they represent their clients still. So we will be as aggressive as possible. We're still a business. We still need to make money on the other side. But we will purchase your client's home, and they can close in as quickly as 15 to 60 days. And that way it really allows them to the freedom and the convenience. Agents are smart. They'll ask, what's the most important thing in selling your home? And it's not always top dollar. They may have pets, small children, or their older parent living with them, and they don't want people in their home. So in those instances, they're really going to love this solution because people aren't coming in their home. And then on top of that, what's really cool, you're getting paid the 3% as the agent, and we're going to offer a free local move. Moving is terrible. Everybody knows that.
Oh, I love it.
So nobody
joking.
ever.
Joking.
And so if we're going to take care of that, as soon as our contract's out, we will get you connected with the local reps here to move you, and it's taken care of. You still have to pack. Nobody wants to pack for you. I don't even think movers do that now. But that's huge. So free local move within 50 miles.
Great. And that's through your company, or you through
it's
another?
a third party.
Third
yes.
party.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the perfect client is somebody who just doesn't want to hassle with this or that. Now, you did use the word aggressive, and you may have used it on the flip side, but are you saying you're coming to me and saying that you are going to try to give me as much money for my home, or you're
Correct.
coming in on the lower side?
No, it's aggressive. So we have local underwriters here. They're going to, pull up all the, just like you would live, the closed comps and see where we can come in it. We're not making a ton of money on each home. It's a numbers game for us. We're a publicly traded company now since October of this last year. So we only make 1% to 3% on each home. So really it's trying to give the client the best offer that we can.
Love it. And so are you looking to maintain that home as a rental, or are you looking to repair, cosmetically upgrade, and then flip it?
Yeah, good question. No, we do not keep any for rentals. We try to close within 90 days after that to turn it around and sell it.
Your ideal property is a little tired, isn't it? Where you come in and do...
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily?
No,
Okay.
and even like our buy box, you hear this term, the buy box. We can take anything from 1970 and newer. And right now we had to have to change a little bit and shift with the market. So our top price right now is only $500,000. Before it was 1.3 million. So that's, where we're able to, as a company, still be earned. The revenue is still coming in. We're taking on a lot of risk, but we want to stay in the business and still be there for agents.
So repeat that. So you used to be at 1.3, now you're at 5, or just the average?
Yeah, we're still here buying homes for $500,000. In Nashville, it's $550,000. And 1970 and newer.
Okay. So 550, 1970.
So how often does that number change, or is it?
It's just been since July 1, and again, because of rates and the shift. So we're, trying to stay into and be smart about that and pivot.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on again, because I figured you'd had to have made some changes, but also was extremely curious on how in the world is a company like this making a $1.1 billion revenue growth in the last quarter, 185% year-over-year growth. That's incredible. It's something that I don't see anybody else doing.
Really, I think it comes down to the people and the Bear brothers. They started our company. They really put people first. And one of our slogans is homes, not houses. So we know that people are living there. If it's not going to work, we're not going to offer on it. And that's why, let's say it didn't work for your client, but they're going to go and talk about in their group of friends, Offerpad, and it'll be another referral for us. So we really build off of referrals, and everyone knows a warm lead is better than a cold lead.
Okay, so let's talk about how it works. So Blake is going to a listing appointment, and the folks share with him that there's some ingredients here, maybe young kids, or something's going to make it a little more of a challenge to sell this home for top dollar. And are there some other options? So tell us, and he's going to reach out to you. Tell us how it works.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Blake, for you as an agent, it has to be pre-MLS. That's one of our biggest things, to be able to get that 3%. But you would just come on, as long as you have pictures of that home as the agent.
So he takes pictures of it?
Yeah, you can take them from your phone.
So you don't need professional photos?
No, and that's the whole goal, so that your client doesn't have to put any money into getting their home market ready like they typically would, right? That's all taken care of beforehand. They have that offer in hand. You could call them up. This is how I would do it if I was still in resale. Let me pop by and take a couple pictures, or if you want to send me a text with at least 10 pictures inside and out. Mechanical is great. That way we can make sure that we're addressing everything. In our first offer, it's not a preliminary offer. It is a offer that they could sign yes and move forward on. But you could bring that offer to us or to your client when you go see the house. So if they say, yes, this offer is great, I want to move forward with it, they don't have to go through anything else. You're still going to get paid your 3%, and they're happy. No one's coming in their house.
So
they schedule the date?
I'm saying if he set up a listing appointment,
Sure.
that was my thought process. Hey, Mr. Seller, if you want to send me over some pictures, I'll show up and I'll have a cash offer in hand. Or don't even tell him, just show up with it. Because he goes online to offerpad.com/agents, and he represents the client. We only talk to the agent.
Wow.
Question on that. So let's say, okay, they accept the offer. We go through that process. I come to the listing appointment and say, hey, we could go the listing route or we can go the Offerpad route. I think people right now with a recent lawsuit that just happened to a big organization, another iBuyer, people are really gun shy about like the smoke and mirrors.
Sure.
Right. Okay. So if I do accept this, I want $300,000. You're going to offer me $300,000. Is that price going to deviate? I mean, are there inspections after the fact? At what point do we lock that in and get to the closing table?
Absolutely. It is not a preliminary offer like some others. We do have due diligence, just like any buyer. We're just a cash buyer. You know what I mean? So we have a home inspection. And most people, I know, I don't go under my house. Does anyone here crawl under their house to see how it's doing? No.
Depends on how clean it is.
Every other
I
day.
thought Carey Ann maybe, yeah. My point is homeowners, even if we try to get everything up front, some things are missed, and that sometimes in a home inspection is caught. So there might be some credit or repairs, but it doesn't always change.
Okay.
But at that point, due diligence, what does that mean? They can still walk away if they don't agree or want to move forward. But typically we see, we tell them, well, the water heater's broken. They can either repair it, they can walk away, or we will take out that credit to do it.
So like in the fees, okay, they move forward with it. I'm just painting some hypotheticals here, and I know other agents are going to ask these same questions. Where they accept the offer, they get through the inspection, due diligence, everything looks great. Are there any additional OfferPad fees at the very, very end? I mean, what do we...
No, all the fees would be upfront, and they are very transparent, and it breaks it down in their initial offer, showing, here's your offer, here's the fees, this is their net. Out of the fees, the agent is going to get paid their 3%, so there's nothing additional.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you said about around 10 pictures. Are we given a list of what rooms you're wanting pictures of, or how's that work?
No, I mean, more is always better. There's room, but at least 10 sometimes. I mean, if we're going to pay you 3%, you can take 10 pictures, I think.
Oh, it's not that. I just want to know what rooms are you wanting. I'm assuming the kitchen, assuming the master suite, master bedroom.
But,
Rachel, do you want to be offered back? Just joking.
I'm kidding. But, the kitchen sells a home, but we still need to see if you're saying it's a 3-bedroom, I want to see that there's 3 bedrooms, one house didn't fall off the cliff or something. Okay. And really the outside, the front and the back are great. I always say mechanical, so if you can get HVAC and water heater, that way there's no surprises. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go into your house.
Okay.
So that's good. So what she was referencing, though, as a listing agent, this is just another option.
Correct.
Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. And so, this, again, pre-MLS, right? That's
Absolutely.
what you referenced. And so why would you not, especially knowing it's a 1970 home under 550, right? Is what you're referencing. Yes. 550 is your buy box or less. Okay. So, and or an elderly couple or kids or, all the things. That would be a huge win, I would think. It would be saving me time and energy, right? But you would need to, get the pictures then, or you would need to have asked them prior to send the photos so you could share this information at the time of listing.
Yeah. I would say, I want to bring you an offer when I come to meet you. Are you able to send me 10 pictures of your home? Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Or I would maybe think of it a little differently. And the process here on the Blake Johnson team is that we just ask for you to send in, right? And you build it up, right? So instead of saying you're bringing a cash offer, you build it up and then you wow them.
Absolutely. Yeah, either way.
I think that would go over more, especially when you're talking about the value add. That's a huge value add. Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, if they're on the fence and you present an offer and they're like, no, that's not high enough, then that's a win for you too as an agent. They'll see, I need to fix XYZ in my home to be able to get more out of it. And then your client will do that for you.
And how are you, so you're looking at the photos that were fuzzy on Blake's sturdy phone, let's just say, right? And so right, because that happens all the time. I mean, we see these photos online, you're like, oh, you didn't even clean off the camera. So step 1, rag to camera. Step 2, you're going to search out and comp it out yourself from that address.
Not me personally, but our local team here, yes. They'll spend,
Is that an algorithm or is that an appraiser or someone?
No,
human.
It's humans, yeah. We have a team here. A lot of them are even from Franklin up to Nashville area, and they've lived here and been here a long time. Longer than Blake's been alive, probably. But...
That's not very long.
Okay.
But are they certified appraisers or are they just folks with,
as far as I know one for sure owned his own appraisal company. So yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's important, I think, to know how to comp out, because I'm like, my house is worth a lot.
Oh yeah.
How does one think that that's, worth this or that without that education?
No, absolutely. They look through them. They don't just hire.
I think with the changes in the marketplace here recently, I think we're going to, I know that Blake and I have seen already more contingent offers than we'd seen before. Mm-hmm. So I think the value of having an option like this is going to be even more important.
Absolutely. We're seeing days on market longer, buyers backing away, and then they're coming to us. We can't help them in that situation. If they've already had their home on the market, then they've missed out on a lot of the value, and we won't offer on homes that have been on the MLS in the past 30 days. So we do ask agents, start with us, come to us first and be the hero, and instead of panicking later.
And what's the why behind the no MLS?
Yeah.
They really have. I mean, you've stamped it saying this home is worth this amount of money. We have to go and sell it later for probably that amount of money. So we can't, the value isn't there anymore. They've already gotten their home ready. They've already gone through all that headache.
I see.
So
this is for future abilities,
Yeah.
or for you to keep the momentum going
Exactly.
within the business. That makes sense.
And if it's sat on the market for 2 months and not selling, then we're not going to be able to offer what they think it's worth anyways.
That's, yeah.
That's
we're
a stale bread situation.
Yeah, we're still a buyer, you know.
And how quickly in that due diligence time frame, so let's say you and I agree, I want to close it in 15 days, let's just say, but you have that due diligence period. How long is that? Is that like a regular contract, or is that shorter, or can you speed that up?
I mean, it would have to be sped up for the 15 days one. We would try to get someone out there within 3 days, but our due diligence can go to 21 days in those longer transactions.
I just was thinking at that point, then you've already made your mind up, then my seller has the ability to make their mind up really quick. If not, we're moving, we're pivoting, and we're going on the MLS, right, at that point. But as soon as we go on the MLS, we're not backpedaling, right? So we have to make a decision, is what you're referencing. Good to know.
Question about the contract. Okay, so at what point, if the seller decides, you know what, I want to just go ahead and list the home. I don't want to walk through the, not that you guys aren't just amazing, but is there any penalties if they want to decide that they just want to take it to the market? What does Offerpad do then?
I'm glad you asked. They do hold a 1% fee, just like anything. If you walk away at the end, if you walked away at the end of it, and it is all outlined in the contract. But if they do in that due diligence time frame, it's going back to the seller. Yeah.
And so if hypothetically we go through the situation or go through the due diligence and they realize, okay, Offerpad, we need more in terms of repairs or credits, and the sellers don't agree to that, is it like an amicable breakup, and then they could
as long as it's not past that time frame. Yeah.
So just
we're a regular
like a standard
buyer, yes, but we're a cash buyer that buys a lot of the houses.
I think a lot of agents are going to ask that question.
Yeah, and that's
at
valid.
What point is my client totally locked into this?
Yeah.
And if they just treat it like a traditional cash buyer.
Correct. Which we are.
Yeah, great.
And then is it a split closing, or we're forced to have to close with a specific title company?
We do use Signature Title, but they can choose if they want to use someone else. Yeah.
You're not required.
No.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So you and I met at a builder function over the last couple months.
Yeah.
And so many of the real estate agents and/or Blake and Monte, have clients that are looking at new construction. Share the connector with the builders. What is your thought there?
Absolutely. The second part of my partnership is working with builders. So we partner with several builders to offer a buyer that you might have looking at their homes a percentage a little less than. So I work with Pulte, Beezer. We work with, right on the spot, DR Horton. Anyone that we have that contract with, they'll get better benefits basically. And we can push that closing out 4 months. So twice as long. That way they're not double moving or moving twice.
So you're buying the home that they are listing.
Correct. So it's the same situation for the agent. We would still pay that agent leaving the exit home 3%, and they can write a contract on their new Beezer home, their new Pulte home, Meritage. That's another one. Because some builders are not taking contingencies, we'll remove the home to sell contingency. Able to move forward, making them more competitive.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
For new construction, especially.
Absolutely.
Now, is that just with those builders, or
Right.
you would be open to?
No, just those builders. And that's the second part of my job, is to get more of those partnerships. So
I gotcha.
yeah,
So
it's a
if
win-win.
another builder presented themselves and said, hey, I want to be a part of that program, you're open to it.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah. And we have, a landing page that's dual branded just for that builder. So it's a really great program. They still get the free local move and just a lesser percent on the referral side.
So, me, I'm always thinking creatively over here. So I talk to client A. Client A is already thinking that they want new construction, right? And I've already kind of thought through it. But the listing is not yet on the market because clearly the new construction house that they're thinking of is not 6 to 9 months, right? So what if I, as the real estate agent, come to you before I put the house on the market anyways, even though they're going to go buy another house? What's the difference between you buying that home, versus it? What would it matter?
I guess say that one more time.
So what I'm getting at is I'm going to come to you because this makes sense, because we're both senior professionals here, know that I don't want to have a home contingency when I go to builder A, right? So I've already brought you in on day one, thinking 2 steps ahead, knowing the outcome of my client. But this builder is not part of your partnership.
At that point, there's a certain link that we go to that you would get the discounts, and so it would just be a regular deal at that point.
Oh, so when you say discounts, the builder's offering discounts because of your partnership?
We offer a certain fee different than our regular agent fee.
I see.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's going to be on the listing side of the home that you're purchasing.
Yeah.
There's less fees on that because you're building with builder A, B,
Correct.
or C,
And
part of your
that's
partnership.
correct. And
Okay. That's what I understand. I was a little lost
Yeah.
on what's the perk.
Yeah, so you could come to us on day one, but a lot of times you don't know, you're shopping for a new home. You don't know if you're going to go to Meritage. You don't know if you're going to go to, wherever. But once you decide you're going with one of our partners, and they know, because I meet with them a lot, if you have a home to sell, hopefully they're out there saying, hey, come to Offerpad. Rachel will take care of you. And then you can, as long as that home is closing within that 4 months, then we can take care of it that day.
Perfect.
So if I heard that correctly, you said there's an extended escrow period.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It used to
Another
be
perk.
Yeah, it used to be 9 months, but in this market, we've also had a shift on that too. Just the risk involved.
Sure.
We can't write an offer today and not know in 9 months where we're going to be. So we've shortened that a little bit too.
And how long is your offer good for?
It depends. I don't write the offers, but typically they're about 2 days. So you do have to turn around and make a pretty quick decision. And in this market, in 2 days, the offer might be less. So, that's kind of what we're seeing.
That's good.
Let me ask you a hard question, Rachel, and you might want to choose to.
My
Here
mic's
it goes.
broken.
Here it goes.
No, but and maybe you don't know the answer to this. So let's say I've got a $500,000 home. Is there an average percentage, or is each one just totally? Is there an average net price that you're offering typically based on an average sale price, or is it just each one depends on the condition and a lot of things?
Well, let me ask you this. If Blake were to comp a home, it's the same question you would ask him. If you don't have pictures, if you don't know the condition of the home, I can't answer that, right? So Blake wouldn't say that either. You don't know what your client's going to net without seeing the home.
Sure.
I guess what he's asking, or what I understand you're asking, is the goal for Offerpad to come in with a 10% buffer?
Sure.
Is it 5% buffer, 3%, 25%?
The best answer is we're going to be aggressive depending on the market, where they're at in that home. And at the end of the day, we are only making 1 to 3% on each home. So we sell a lot of homes, and that's that's what we're making. Between 1 and 3%.
So what I'm hearing her say is when she resells it, there's a 7% hit, right, for another commission because you're having the buyer's agent, or are you taking? And so she's saying 1 to 3. So 3 to the buyer, 3 to there. So you got to take in consideration 7 on the flip.
Yeah. And I think it's important that everybody watching this understand that life only works in a win-win relationship as much as possible.
Right.
So I was just trying to get, I didn't think about that, but you're eating the costs on the purchase side,
right,
and then you turn around and having those costs when you're selling. So
for a net of 1 to 3.
Yeah,
total.
correct.
Do you have a sales team then that's selling your homes that you're purchasing?
Offerpad is a brokerage, yes. And the way I, talk to agents, because they come in and they talk about the houses we have for sale. There are 2 sides of Offerpad, basically. I'm in the partnership side, and then we are a brokerage side. Separate, but the same, if that makes any sense. But yes, there is an agent, an Offerpad agent that represents our homes that we sell.
Okay, cool.
Good to
And
know.
I wasn't trying to be vague on the answer. It's a person. It's not an algorithm, a computer doing the offer. So it's going to depend on each and every home.
Yeah, and you're a business. I think we were just saying, like, we like to think 2 steps ahead.
Yeah.
So we could already kind of do the calculation in our head. Most likely you're going to come in around blank, you
Sure.
know, is kind of what I was thinking that you were referencing, you know,
Yeah,
because
if
I'm already
I-
thinking 2 steps ahead on
If
it.
I know somebody needs to net this,
Right.
but they've got, you know, this pressing issue that could be kids, it could be timing, it could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they went out and fell in love with a house and they're not ready to sell theirs right now.
Right.
You know, and they need certainty. You know, I just, you know, it's good to know, like you said, we're always thinking ahead.
Yeah, and really, if you need an offer quicker than 24 hours, then reach out to me. You have my number. I'm a person. I'm going to be answering. You know, I'm a phone to call. It's not going to be push 5 to get to whatever, push 4. I'm going to answer. I do have a toddler, so if it's loud in the evening, that might be why. But, you know, we all have our reasons to move. And so if they need it quicker, then we can push that ahead.
And how do people get a hold of you, Rachel?
Well, my phone number is right there on that card, and it is 615-707-9516, or Rachel, Rachel .Bauman, Bauman @offerpad.com.
I love it. Quick question. Now that I know someone's going to think about this. If the offer's only good for 2 days and Blake prepped it prior to going to his listing appointment, that now only gives me less than 24 hours for me as the seller to make a decision. Is there a renewal on that?
You can get a renewal, but like I said, it may change. And don't quote me on the 2 days. Let me get back to you on that to see exactly where they're at. But I know it isn't like 2 weeks. You know,
I mean, she's managing expectations, which I really appreciate.
Yeah,
that,
and I
you
think
know.
you just have to manage as the
Sure.
listing agent if you're going to offer that to
Right.
manage your expectations.
So
'Cause
should I say, hey, I'm going to the listing appointment on August 10th?
you could, and then we wouldn't send out an offer until then.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, I had a question about the appraisal, just to circle back to that real quick. If we don't necessarily agree with where you come in at value,
Wait, on the appraisal?
well you said you have valuation team. I'm sorry, I just was condensing it to an appraisal. But when
That's a bad word probably in her mind.
probably
Yeah,
because you
because
don't
we're
have
a cash buyer, so
you're-
there's not going to be an
right, right.
appraisal, but our offer.
Right, you know your value team.
Their
your
name's
value teams.
Offerpad.
Sorry, thank you guys for bringing me up to snuff. Man, these guys are feisty. Okay, let me start again. Your value team comes up with a value that they're going to, you know, this is our offer, right?
Yeah.
What if we as a listing agent don't necessarily agree with that as a very fair price? What's our relationship like at that point? Do we have a conversation? I mean, what's that like?
Come on, Rachel, can't you
turn
give
and
another
run,
$2,000?
turn and run.
Yeah, I need
No.
more. I need $10,000 more.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not a take it or leave it. That is not what I want agents to think of at all. We might have missed something.
Sure.
So bring it to our attention. Call us back and say, hey, they remodeled this. You didn't see that. We're open to that feedback. And yeah, please do.
Okay,
That's
good.
your job as an
So
agent,
it's
right?
more of a team effort.
Right.
Absolutely.
Love that.
That's
Love
what
that.
I was getting at.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's
Love
good.
team efforts.
So good.
Thank
well,
you,
Rachel,
Monte.
such a pleasure having you
Absolutely.
with us here.
Thank you.
Offerpad is a tool, part of your toolbox. Remember, you can reach Rachel at 615-707-9516. That's 707-9516. Again, grateful to have you with us. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody,
Thanks,
for
Rachel.
joining. You've been listening to the
Thanks,
talk
Offerpad.
of Music City Real Estate.